Hey, Poodle fam, how we doing? Happy Wednesday, August 30th. Can't believe we're almost done with August. Good to see everybody today. Good to be here, just chatting with you all. I got a special episode today because I'm going to do a little bit of news, but also a little bit of education, a little bit of news, a little bit of education. Also, I'm wearing the hat. I don't know. I just grabbed it randomly out of the closet. It's the one that I got when I was in Nazaré with Sasha and Al. So how about that? Completely randomly. So nice little poodle connection there. So anyway, it's good to see everybody. Gonna have a great great episode here. Good things happening. As you see, things are a little slowish as what's going on, but that's okay. We've got some big things happening. So I'm doing today a little bit of news and a little bit of education. Again, a little bit of news, a little bit of education, and good to see here. This is my weekly therapy. Good opportunity to talk to you all and just share a little bit. So the first bit of news, if you follow the Telegram, is of course, let me pull that up. Oh boy, I hate to say the word, but Whitebit, Whitebit. Remember Whitebit and all the hell that we went through with Whitebit. Yeah. One of the things. So what we are doing is, Whitebit is having people either pull their tokens out. So look for information from them to collect them, send your tokens to a DeFi wallet so you have them. And then what they're going to do with remaining tokens that they have, either unclaimed tokens after a certain date and or ones that are just part of their general pool, is that they are going to go ahead and burn them. And then, so we won't have Whitebit as an exchange, which is good. I mean, the volume wasn't great anyway, and you get better fees off of our exchange anyway, our pet exchange. So no need to use that anyway. And so what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and burn the tokens. It should be we don't know the exact amount yet, but it could be up to a couple trillion tokens that will just get burned as well, depending upon who claims their tokens back and stuff like that. So, or sends them into a DeFi wallet. So that's going to be exciting. Again, the news. Hey, everybody, thank you for joining. I'm seeing some people viewing. So thank you for popping in. Again, the big news, as you saw on the Telegram, it's pinned there. We've come to an agreement with Whitebit that for those, we're going to want you to take your tokens, transfer them out of your account, get them into DeFi after a certain date, date to be announced. Look for the announcement from them. I don't have anything in Whitebit, so I don't have that connection. They're going to burn it. They're going to burn the tokens, and that is going to decrease our circulating supply, which is a good thing. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Besides just the news about finally working out that with Whitebit, we know that it was not fun going through, even just when we went from V1 to V2 and how they were handling the situation and how we could get the tokens working and all that stuff. It was hell. But now we have our own pet exchange. You should be making all of your exchanges off pet anyway, and just utilizing our exchange. You're going to get the best value anyway. And then you're going to protect yourself the best, because you own it in your own DeFi wallet. So that's going to be the main thing. I think it burns. So what I'm going to talk about today, just for those who might not know, if you're new into crypto and you're checking this out, and you mean, what is burning? What is the point of burning? Why is it a good thing that they're burning the tokens? And what does it mean? And how does it even work? So I'm going to go through a little bit about that. First off, as you know, every token, every crypto has a certain supply. There are only so many of them. For Poodle, it happens to be 100 trillion, and that's how many there are. No more, no less, right? Well, technically there are less, but when it was created, there were 100 trillion tokens. As part of our, our tokenomics, when buys and sells happen, a certain amount gets burned, which then decreases the amount of supply, right? So, and I'm just making numbers up to make this easy for you. Let's say you got 10 of something, and every time someone buys it, you have to take one of them and you have to basically destroy it. So after the first purchase, someone buys 10, you would have 9 left. Well, then if that person with 9 of something then sells it, and so that one of them had to, then you would have, 8 left, and so on and so on and so on. And after essentially 10 transactions, you're down to their last one, right? That makes sense. And that's pretty much how burning works, and tokenomics that have burn work, right? Is that we limit the circulating supply. And we're already down 16, almost 17 trillion from our original 100 trillion. So basically, let's just call it, even after the white bit burn, there's going to be basically 80 trillion left. That's not bad. 20% of the circulating supply, bye-bye, gone. Which means that the tokens, what is the point? It means the tokens are harder to come by. They are harder to come by. That means that the supply and demand value and valuation changes, right? That is the point of the circulating supply lowering. So, as we know, all normal economics works off supply and demand, right? When you have something and you have a ton of something, and the demand for it isn't there, that's when prices typically go down, right? And because obviously, if people want to sell what they have, but people aren't interested, then the prices go down. Or if there's a ton of them, the prices go down more, right? That's just how it works. And so what we want to do is, as you have less of something, it can become more desirable as people want it, right? Which allows you to increase the price of it, right? So the less of something makes it more desirable, then makes it so that you can charge more for it when demand goes up. As we enter the next bull market, demand for crypto will go up. Demand for tokens will go up. And therefore, if we have less of them, then you have a better opportunity to make more money. It actually allows the value of it to go up a lot faster, right? That's really the point. So every time, we have built into tokenomics where we have burn with buys and sells, as well as now with Whitebit saying, hey, they're going to take this big chunk again. Don't know exactly how many, 1 to 2 to 3 trillion. I don't think it's quite 3. I don't think they have that much in their stock. Will get sent to that burn address, and then that's what we end up with. So for those of you who want to know what and how does burn even happen, because they have to be, and what happens is the tokens don't actually disappear, right? They don't just go away. They actually get sent. So as you know, when we have our tokens and someone buys and sells, and some percentage goes to redistribution and a certain percentage goes to the burn wallet, what happens is it's just the contract is sending the tokens, right? You buy something, it takes it from the pool, like the liquidity pool or wherever it's being from, and it sends your tokens to you. But as you notice, you don't get the full, if because of the tokenomics. And then the tokenomics gets split according to the contract, so that one set goes to the redistribution, for example, or the marketing wallet, or in the case of burn, the burn wallet. So the burn wallet essentially is where those tokens go. So they don't actually, quote unquote, disappear. They're just inaccessible. So what that means is it's a wallet address that has no ability to get to it. It's an invalid address. So you might be aware that when you have tokens, this is why we warn you, if you send tokens to somebody or you're making a trade, doing things, make sure that you have the correct address, because if you send them, there's no way to get them back if you mess that up. So essentially, the burn address, a place where the tokens get sent to, is an invalid address. and there are no public keys to that wallet address, which makes the tokens essentially useless. They're gone. So at some point, you could imagine that there would be 100. There could, no, there probably would never be, because someone would always have and own some tokens. There could essentially end up being 100 trillion tokens in that burn wallet. Um, and that's what happens over time. I remember when we were in the bull market before, a couple of years ago, we were burning through a lot fast. And then, the bear market came, that slowed down. Hey, everybody, thanks for coming. Um, and that started to slow down, and therefore, you now have, you have slower burn, and that's why I'm really excited about seeing a couple trillion out of our circulating supply just go bye-bye. So that will be fantastic. Um, and so that's pretty much how it works. Again, when you do a purchase, you have based on our tokenomics, or when Whitebit burns them, they're essentially just sending them to an address that is inaccessible to anybody else, an invalid address. And in fact, a lot of tokens have burn. They do, it means that you have a deflationary token. It means that that your total amount of tokens goes down over time. But what is the point? Like, why would, and this is actually a good thing, when people create tokens or create coins, why would you have something that has burn built into it? Well, the number one reason is to increase value of it, right? And this is why we work on utility, and we work on collaborations, and we work on ways to utilize our tokens as a project, knowing that we're also having burn happen, and we're having the token circulating supply decrease. Because what we're going to happen is, as we end up having our tokens be needed for more things, that means that people need to have the tokens. Well, with less of them, our prices are going to go up. That's the best way to invest. That's why we tell everybody, again, not to beat a dead horse, but dollar cost average now and load up your balance. Because at some point, if you hold and the circulating supply decreases, the value of what you have to sell later goes up, just because people need it and there isn't as much of it left, right? And so it can directly affect the price because of the demand of it. The more people want to hold off, then the more it goes up quicker. That's pretty much the point. And more people are willing to pay higher amounts for those tokens. It's pretty much supply and demand. And what we're doing is decreasing supply on a predetermined value. And that really is the cool thing about when we see something with like Whitebit going ahead and just burning off, 2% of our in total, supply in one shot. That's fantastic for us. That is fantastic. It does help maintain the value for us, right? So in fact, I wouldn't be surprised as this starts to happen that we actually see, again, it's those tokens are being held in a in a centralized exchange. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bump up immediately. Again, it might be a short term bump up, but again, when we automatically have the amount of tokens dropping quickly, our value is going to go up. What it does too, it strengthens the community, and that's another reason for why you would burn. When you have, and I'm gonna use something for an example. Bored Ape, right? Take the Bored Ape. There's 10,000 of them, and that's all there is, right? There's a certain number of them, and those people who hold one are part of a special community. It grows and strengthens that community. So as our circulating supply lowers, it becomes harder to own it, because also the price goes up, which then means that people who really want to be part of it have to pay more to be part of it, right? So it does strengthen a community the more we burn. Um, you know, there are a few things to think about. I mean, I think that the value of having a lower circulating supply, especially for us right now, where we're trying to build things and we're building our utility behind, and while we're trying to really have our community come together, those are positives. Those are things that I think are positive for Burn. But while we are talking about it, there are a couple of downsides. Um, I guess the biggest downside is that the permanent, permanent loss of a token, right? When it's sent to Burn, at some point you're going to get to a point, let's say people need our tokens for gaming and they need our tokens for other things, and we get to a point um where we have burned so many that you now don't have the opportunity to use the tokens for anything like that. Now, here's the thing. We are so far away from that being an issue. And at some point, we would have to think about it. And there are ways to do that, like splitting and stuff like that. There are ways around that. We are so far away from it. But it is something to note that when you see tokens that are deflationary and they have burn, that you do lose an asset, right? And there's a reason we call it burn. I went through a house fire a couple years ago. When it's burned, it's gone. There's no saving it or getting it back. It is permanent. And that is the one thing. When you're sending it to a dead wallet, the dead wallet is inaccessible and those tokens are gone for good. So that is one of the downsides. Again, not for us to worry about right now. And in fact, I've not really seen any tokens have issues with that. I know there were some before that were playing with high percentage burns and stuff, which is weird. But, just to note. Kind of the other thing too is, again, it is slow. It is a slow burn that we have. And, again, I love the idea of Whitebit burning off the tokens that they have in order to give us a couple percentage gone. But really, it takes a pretty decent amount. I mean, just to be honest, that we won't see a major impact until we have 50% burn. And we're at 20%. We will be at 20% burn. It's going to be a while. It's going to take another full bull market. Like I mentioned, we moved fast. We burned a lot during the last bull market. When it comes again, it will gradually decrease. And, my guess is we'll probably burn 10% on the next bull market ish, which again adds value. It adds value to us, but that's going to be my guess. So that's a little bit. Again, today I just want to do a little bit of a telling you about what was happening. For those of you, if you joined the conversation late, join the live stream late. I don't know what to say. Whitebit has agreed. Again, if you have your stuff in the centralized exchange of Whitebit, make sure that you go pull your tokens out, send them to a DeFi wallet so you have them. You will get confirmation from them. After a while, there's going to be a date where they are going to burn excess tokens, and they are just going to send them to the burn wallet, decreasing our total supply. We will get a proof of burn, so no worries there. And that will in effect, that will increase or decrease our circulating supply, which should increase demand for our tokens and stuff. So that's the main thing. That's what I wanted to cover. Hopefully, I taught you a little bit how burn works. Again, it's built into the smart contract. There is an address, usually called the burn address, which is an invalid address where the tokens get sent based on the smart contract that no one has a public key to, and therefore no one has the ability to go get them later. So that's how it works. It is a good thing. I'm looking forward to seeing our token have more value and continue to grow. So that's it. I want to thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for joining the show. I hope you enjoyed this one, and we will see you next week. Next week, we've got a great one. We got a live guest again next week, so get prepared for that. All right. Love you, Poodle fam. Have a great week.